Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2006 here in W9 as it's time for Hell and Havoc live from New Orleans Arena from beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana. And it's a Revolution only show, but we got a bunch of big matches going on. But let's get rolling right to the first match of the show. But we start out first with a pay-per-view opening video, of course focusing on the big matches of the show, including the Monty Brown Judas Mesias match, the WARGAMES match, the women's title match, AJ Styles vs. Leppan, and more. And that opening video, of course, gets an 80. And we start with an opening match here as Frye tried to get the revenge on Rob Van Dam. Of course, way back in July, Rob Van Dam got injured in a match with Mesias. Frye got basically hired as a Heyman's mercenary to go after Mesias, but after Rob Van Dam returned, RVD and Heyman turned on Frye, basically upset that Frye didn't take down Mesias, and Frye is now looking for revenge. Nothing fancy here. Honestly, unfortunately, they didn't click. So, which honestly, Frye versus RVD, like that's the game actually just making sense that they didn't click. So like this goes about 10 minutes. It is not like a fancy match. Like this is Frye doing some takedowns and some suplexes. RV doing some kicks, some disconnected moves, Heyman trying to get involved, Frye going for the punch that allowing Rob Van Dam to come from behind, hit him with the with a big drop kick from behind, eventually hitting the Rolling Thunder and the Van Dam-ator. But Frye getting out of the way, the first 5-star frog splash, locking on a real naked choke, but Heyman putting RV's foot on the ropes, Frye getting pissed. And then Frye, and then Rob Van Dam again taking advantage, and eventually hitting the 5-star frog splash for the win here at Halloween Havoc. As this match gets a so it goes like I said, 10 minutes, good heat, decent wrestling, wrestling rating of 65, crowd rating of 76, so it was a hot match, sitting rating of overall 73. Like I said, Frye was off his game, and Frye and RV didn't click. Basically, this is probably the end of Frye's run here. He has a little over a month on his contract, but there's not much else for him to do. And honestly, like he hasn't had like the best run here, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like he had the Goldberg feud and some fun stuff at the beginning, and the little Kanyon feud, but Kanyon sort of getting injured way back last year totally like derailed his like long run. And he sort of got like stuck doing nothing for a while. And plus, he's actually getting older. Is he doing the time decline yet? Not yet, but regardless. But anyway, still like not the worst match. We got to get rolling with the rest of the card here. And then we got a big tag team match here, as of course a few weeks ago on Revolution, basically the legendary team of Helms and Kidman called out anybody. Out came the lower card workers of Trevor, Slater, and Keith Walker, who got a shocking win over Helms and Kidman. And since then, Helms and Kidman have been looking for revenge. So I'm gonna show that like a Helms, in an interview last week said, they wouldn't, take any shortcuts. They just proved they're the better wrestlers, as they're both former world champions. Helms is the greatest U.S. champion of all time in his estimation. They're both former multi-time cruiserweight champions, and so on and so forth. And now they're coming to this match looking for a bit of revenge against Slater and Walker. And Slater and Walker actually come in pretty hot themselves, looking to make a statement, trying to prove it's not a fluke. Back and forth match. Slater, gets some brawling. Walker does some big suplexes and locks in submissions. We get some early stuff with Helms actually like not like staying true to his word and not actually doing really any cheating. He comes in, has a fire, does a flying forearm, does some big drop kicks. Does a goes for a quick little cutter, does a quick not does a springboard moonsault for a near fall, sets him up for the super kick. Slater ducks under, hits a big lariat. Kidman comes in for the save. Things break down again. We get another big old brawl. Slater actually hits a big lariat on Kidman, but Helms makes the save. We continue to go back and forth for a bit here. We see a big win. Walker actually hits a big belly to belly on Helms, but tags in Slater, who comes in and goes for his sort of like modified version of the Code Red, but Helms reverses it. Helms goes back on offense, hits a big Northern Line suplex for near fall, hits a wacky snap suplex, goes up top for a flying clothesline, but Slater's ready for him, tags back in Walker, who goes back on work, but eventually things break down again, and Helms is sent to the outside, and it looks like Walker and Slater are getting their stuff in on Kidman, but there's a distraction by April Hunter, while Helms is down on the outside. But she has left a chain. Kidman comes down, whacks Trevor Slater with it, then hits the Kid Crusher. Helms recovers to Kidman hitting it. 1, 2, 3. Your winners of the match, Shane Helms and Billy Kidman, with help from April Hunter, despite Shane Helms not wanting that. And solid match, good wrestling, decent interaction. Shane Helms and Kidman get the win. This gets an 81 overall, wrestling rating of 73, crowd rating of 58, segment rate of 81. Kidman gets a 90, Helms gets an 83, Slater gets a 61, Walker gets a 58. Again, Walker and Slater have excellent chemistry teaming together, so I'll keep them probably as a mid-card, lower mid-card babyface team, but Helms Kidman needed the win here. And of course, I celebrate afterwards to a 75, but Helms is unaware of what happened here, but fun stuff. And next up, it's a big singles match here, as of course Cash and Chavo Guerrero, two wrestlers trying to basically make a name for themselves on Revolution. Chavo, Cash basically, Chavo only has a place here on Revolution because of, his uncle Eddie Guerrero. Chavo got pissed off that, says, what's Cash done lately? He's basically, been just floated around since, since Silver City Rollers broke up, last year. And Cash got mad at that, and here we are at Halloween Havoc. Back and forth match as you expect. Cash looks strong. Hitting his wacky moves. Chavo Guerrero comes back doing Chavo stuff. Big suplexes, big lariats, big plancha by Chavo. Chavo hits a big German suplex, hits a big lariat. Actually locks in version of Lasso El Paso, but Cash gets to the ropes. Cash comes back with a big, with a couple big knee strikes, has a Fisherman Buster for a near fall. Actually hits a big clothesline from the back, goes for the dead level. Chavo gets out of it. He goes for the moneymaker, but Chavo gets out of it again. Chavo fights back. Actually, it's a big tornado DDT. Tries to follow up with a brainbuster. Cash goes low, takes back over, hits a big a drop kick. Hurricanrana goes up top, hits a big flying knee drop for a near fall, picks him up, dead level, but Chavo kicks out, picks him for another one, gets out of it. Chavo fights back, hits a couple big moves, goes up top, hits the Three Amigos, goes up top, frog splash. Cash gets his knees up, hits the moneymaker, or hits the dead level again, puts the foot on the ropes. 1, 2, actually gets a kick out from Chavo, so Cash picks him up, hits another dead level, right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3, and a basically, clean victory for Cash here at Halloween Havoc. Decent match. Cash wins Chavo with a dead level, wrestling rating of 68, crowd rating of 69, singing rating of 77. Chavo gets a 63, Cash gets a 73. Pretty straight ahead win. Cash hadn't gotten a win here in a while, and honestly, Chavo is sort of here because Eddie's his. I probably would have let him go if I hadn't signed Eddie. But Chavo actually is decent, and I probably could push him better. But he's just one of those people who's sort of stuck in the mid card to lower mid card, and TV time is not of the essence. So unfortunately, sometimes they don't get as much time as they should. But still, a solid match here at Halloween Havoc. And Cash celebrates, gets a 74 as we move forward here at Halloween Havoc. And now, as it says right there on the screen, leveling up as Austin Aries goes after the legendary Mysterio Jr. Aries said, Ray Jr.'s time is done. He blew it when he was the world champion. He blew it when he got another shot against, the Monty Brown a few weeks ago. And now, he's here to put him down. Ray Jr., of course, got upset about that. And here we are. Right from that, we get, basically, Aries being dismissive with some slaps to his own chest. But, Ray, comes up with a flash of speed, hitting a quick tilt-a-whirl head scissor takedown. Aries charges. He hits a, big drop. Aries then hits a big drop kick, then a springboard senton to a big pop. Hits a real barrel bulldog. But Aries actually blocks that, turns that into a rolling fireman's carry slam, and then hits a big old jumping knee drop to the boos of the crowd. Then Aries decides to slow down the pace, slapping on a scissored armbar. Ray, struggles trying to get out of it, eventually, bridging it into a roll for a 2 count. Ray scrambles to his feet, but he gets nailed with a discus forearm that sends him tumbling out of the ring. Aries launches himself with a big suicide dive onto Ray, then sends Ray back into the ring and hits a big top rope knee drop for a near fall. He hits a forward rushing leg sweep. Then, taunts the crowd, pointing at Ray saying, is this your hero? Then hitting a big old power drive arrow with the old twisting theatrics. Hits a big shin run, hits a big shin breaker, followed by a leg hook Saito suplex. Boom, big heel pop, and then locks in the figure 8 leg lock. But then he manages slowly into the ropes, and he yanks Ray to his feet, trying to go for the super brainbuster, but Ray counters it, blocking it and then hitting a big Frankenstein of his own. Ray is the first to get up slowly. Aries charges. Ray slips between his legs and hits the big old head scissors takedown. Aries this time goes to the floor. Ray takes flight again, going off the top rope with a diving hurricanrana. I'm not from the ring apron out the ropes, and then Aries is down on the map. Ray sends him in, hits a big split leg moonsault for a near fall. And then, Aries kicks out, and, Ray goes off the springboard attempt, but Aries catches him. Big Death Valley driver into a near fall. He, drags Ray to the middle of the ring, locks on the House of Aries arm triangle choke, but Ray flips out, counters the rebarrel, and rolls Aries up into a roll through cradle for a near fall. Ray springs to his feet, ducks a lariat, bounces off the ropes into a huge springboard splash, hitting on Aries' chest. He then pops back up, hits a springboard crossbody, and then Aries, struggles to the corner, tells War head scissors, flipping Aries back first into the, turnbuckle. Aries has not ended up on the second rope as all Ray opponents have ended up. He dials it up, he swings to the apron, boom, 619. He then hits the big drop in the dime, but, Aries kicks out of that. And then, Aries gets put on the top rope. Ray, boom, springboard hurricanrana. 1, 2, 3. Your winner of the match is Rey Mysterio Jr. in a very good match. Good wrestling, decent rank from the crowd. Springboard hurricanrana, high spots, wrestling rating of 79, crowd rating of 68, overall rating of 85 because he's Rey Mysterio Jr. Aries gets a 64, Ray gets a 94, he's a freaking great. Backstage stuff, I try to give Aries the 1 year very cheatery. Ray was very pissed, so I just had to give him the win and let Aries look good here. But solid win for Rey Mysterio Jr. as he tries to get back involved in the main event picture here at Halloween Havoc. And of course, post-match, Ray Jr. celebrates the cheers of the crowd as he wants to put over it's a big win for him here at Havoc. And now it's time for our first title match of the evening, as it's time for the ignore the part where it said WARGAMES. I screwed up on where I was doing my edits. That's the women's triple threat. That's me being dumb. That's unfortunate. Anyway, guys. So let me actually just pull up something else here real quick. Graphics issues. So originally I made this, realized I forgot the other team because I was dumb. And so I made the triple threat match, but then I forgot to change the wording, even though I changed the wording of the actual teams. So that's on me. But anyway, let's get, to the actual match because I'm a dummy. Anyway, it is a triple threat match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Let's say Alexander and Foxx, who of course beat European Disunion for the tag titles a few weeks back on Revolution, go into this match as the defending champions. But then Danger and Blight, of course, got added to the match after being in the social scene. And now all three of these teams are looking to become the top of the women's tag team divisions here at Halloween Havoc. So we start out with basically with chaos as you expect. All six women start going after each other. Blight and Alexander trade some forearms. Foxx comes in and hits an immediate spinning wheel kick on Mayhem. Danger goes after Busick with a big lariat that sends her out of the ring. We get a spit running arm drag on Mayhem by Foxx. Alexander flattens Danger with a big solo drop to pop the crowd. Blight recovers quickly and actually comes back with a big boot on Angel Foxx. Then a big spine buster on Alexander. But then European Union regains some control with some double teaming. We see Cena trapping Foxx in a ground full Nelson, holding her still, while Mayhem runs full speed and just drills her in the face with a knee. Mayhem then hits a gut wrench powerbomb, but Danger slides in to break up the pin. Right with the running enziguri. Danger goes on a little bit of a run, hitting a huge strike jacket suplex on Alexander. Then hits a single knee facebuster, flirting with disaster on Cena, who then stumbles into a big running clothesline from Blight that sends her out of the ring. Blight actually hits a huge tope suicida from a 6-foot woman that knocks both the European Disunion women down. Back in the ring, Angel continues to rally, hits a big snapmare into a low angle dropkick, hits a leg V and Zaguri, and then a huge spirited danger. Then Alyssa tags in and lifts Danger up into the Kudo driver, but Alyssa Blight has recovered and comes in just a huge boot to knock, knock her out of the pinfall. And then we had a big old brawl, with Angel, with everybody hitting, a couple of big moves. Blight hits a big boot, but then she gets taken out with a double team suplex from Busick Mayhem. Alexander comes down with a German suplex on Busick, and then Mayhem actually gets nailed with a big drop kick from Angel Foxx, and then she follows that up pretty quickly by as Mayhem is getting up with a lifting reverse STO lights out for a near fall. But then we get everybody still recovers. She grabs Allie. Allie Danger comes back in. Mayhem gets drills her with a DDT. Then as Foxx gets back up, drills Foxx with a running lariat. She drags Angel up for a gut wrench powerbomb, but Alexander shoves Foxx out of the way, and then drills Mayhem with a missile dropkick from the top. Alexander hits a reverse STO, and then Angel hits the Angel Snap, running slippery cutter from Foxx, laying Mayhem out, but before they can cover, Blight breaks up with a beautiful running knee right to the back of Alexander's head, and now both women are down. Blight picks up Alexander and hits a huge German suplex on her, but Foxx makes a last-second save. Foxx goes high risk again, going for a dive across body, but Blight catches her midair, powers up, and drives her down with the fireman's carry onto the knee, the Blight bound to a big heel pop, but then Alexander throws a desperation forearm to the back of Blight's head to break up the pin. Cena returns in the back of the ring, hitting German suplex Danger into the turnbuckle, knocking her down. But Molly tags in and then pounds away at everything moves. She grabs Alexander and launches over the top rope with a belly to belly to a big heel pop. Danger tries to fight back, but she basically gets tossed to the outside. But with the ref distracted, Blight sneaks in and levels Molly from behind with a clothesline from behind. And then she picks her up. Boom! Blight bound right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. We see him try to save at the last moment, but it's no good. And we have new Women's Tag Team Champions. Decent match. And yeah, Danger and Blight are your new Women's Tag Team Champions. Ignore the eliminations here. 66 wrestling rating, 57 crowd rating, overall rating of 76. Angel Foxx gets a 76. Alexander gets a 65. Pam gets a 59. Mesias gets 71. Danger gets a 71. And Blight gets a 53. Fun stuff. And post-match, Blight and Danger celebrate with the tag team titles, while Danger celebrates. Blight just looks scary. Oops. Now it's time for a match that's been heating up for a while. Of course, Booker T, has been having some up and down year. But Keenan Sharpe targeted his wife, and it looked like eventually, he actually had her, twisted around his finger. But Booker eventually fought back. And Charmel sided with her husband. When she came back, it looked like she was going to turn on, but instead she nailed Sharpe with a chair, allowing Booker to pick up a win. This eventually led to Sharpe and Booker, Sharpe going to the Booker's home, leading Booker to even get more pissed. Leading to this challenge for a last man standing match to finally end this. And this was not a catch-as-can wrestling match. This was an absolute fight right from the start, as you'd expect, involving both of these men. Booker T is Booker T. He goes, right after, Sharpe right from the beginning, and the fight goes to the outside. We, some, Irish rips into the apron, big brawling, big suplex on the floor, but Sharpe eventually comes back, hitting his own moves, throwing Booker into the steps, and then hitting a big STO onto the floor. Things get back into the ring. Sharpe tries to take apart Booker's knees. Shin breaker, knee breaker, all that good stuff. Looking for a Boston Crab, hitting a chop block. He actually locks on a fuller leg lock, but Booker T eventually gets out of it. But it looks like the damage is done. He actually goes for the short arm scissors, but Booker blocks it, elbows out of it, sends a couple big knee strikes, hits the sidekick, clotheslines Sharpe out of the ring, hits a big axe on the outside, then picks up Keenan Sharpe, goes for the bookend, boom. But But Sharpe slowly gets up at 6. Booker goes back on the offense, going for the brawling, but Sharpe eventually takes back advantage, hits a big belly back suplex on the floor, hits a running knee, picks, and then actually locks Booker into a rope hung triangle choke on the outside. As the crowd boos, Sharpe eventually, breaks it off, not because he thinks because he thinks that's enough. Booker falls down. Ref counts to 7. Booker slowly gets up. Booker Sharpe blocks him in for the MK Ultra belly back pile driver, but Booker goes low to block it, hits a big jawbreaker, hits a big high impact spinebuster. Sharpe gets a count of, Booker gets a count of 5 off of that. Booker goes on the offense, hits a big forearm smash, hits a big axe kick again, hits a spin-a-rooney to a big pop, goes for the bookend. Sharpe blocks it, hits a DDT, locks in another hold. Again, breaks it off after a while, but then Booker slowly gets up, but Sharpe again decides to clothesline him to the outside. But on the outside, Booker gets back on offense. Booker actually drills him with a big backdrop onto the floor that gets an 8 count, but Sharpe fights back, actually drills Booker with a big Fisherman Buster on the outside. That gets an 8 count, but both men eventually brawl up to the top of the ramp. Big boot by Booker, picks up for the booking again, but then just as he looks like he's about to get it in, we see a Hispanic man, dressed with a do-rag, attacking Booker T from behind, picking him up, hitting a big, forearm to the back, hitting a big lariat as Sharpe recovers, and then he picks him up and hits a modified crucifix powerbomb, throwing him onto the floor of the, ring entrance at the top of the ramp. Sharpe, stares, with ill intent. The ref counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Your winner of the Last Man Standing Hip, with help from seems a new follower, is Keenan Sharpe, getting the win over Booker T in 13 minutes, wrestling rating of 76, crowd rating of 80, over rating of 83. Booker gets a 70, Sharpe gets an 82. The creative finish worked, and the match got the crowd hotter. Good stuff. And then, of course, post-match, Hernandez continues to beat down until WCW officials come out. And yeah, Hernandez made his debut as a follower of Keenan Sharpe. This gets to 65. As we move forward here on Revolution. Or on Havoc, sorry. But before our next match, we get a commercial. So it starts off with some footage of early, Starcades, as we get voiceover from men like Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Megan T, and others. You can talk about Dusty, talk about the greatness of Starcade. You see footage of Flair for the gold, Flair versus Dusty, Magnum Pulley versus Tully Blanchard, Night of Skywalkers, all that good stuff. But then eventually we even get some Nitro era footage of Sting's entrance, Hogan and Piper, some cruiserweight action, stuff like that, and then we sort of skip over those last couple of years. No Nash Goldberg for you folks. And then we eventually get to the new era. Booker T winning the world title back from Scott Steiner. Goldberg winning the title from Bureau. RVD winning the title from Shane Helms. AJ Styles winning the title last year. The aerial assault matches, other big Goldberg face off against Monty Brown, other big matches in history as the talk continues. As basically then you get voiceover, saying how the night's going to be the biggest of them all. As first time, Starcade will be 2 nights live from Atlanta, Georgia, on December 23rd and 24th. This gets 69. So yeah, basically backstage stuff. I basically was going over my Starcade card. And if I didn't do 2 nights, a lot of actually really over people just would not be on the card. So we are 2 nights earlier, but we're hot enough that I think it makes logical sense. So there we go. Now it's time for our next big title match as Joanie Laurer looks to become the women's champion, taking on Celine Cartier. Of course, Cartier recently turned heel to win the title, and Joanie Laurer came back after a couple of months off to make the save for the babyfaces. But then eventually beat Gail Kim and Trisha Sky in a triple threat last month to earn this title shot, got traded over to Revolution as part of that win, and now is faced off against Celine Cartier. And this match this match is not, this match is actually sort of brutal, as these are two women who, despite, their different looks, are sort of the same wrestler in the sense that they're both looking for sort of like power stuff. We got, Cartier coming with her big chops, hitting a big DDT early, then hitting some face wash kicks on Laurer. Joanie comes back with her own, power moves, hitting a big gut wrench suplex, hitting a big boot, going for the power bomb early, but Cartier actually like reverses it with a big backdrop, hits a big lariat on Joanie as she gets up, hits a big goes up to the second rope, hits the diving headbutt for a near fall, locks in a big German suplex on Laurer, goes up top for the moonsault, but Joanie gets out of the way. Joanie recovers, hits a big boot, picks her up for a chokeslam. Cartier blocks that, hits a couple big suplexes of her own, actually hits a swinging STO for a near fall, hits a running knee, hits another couple face washes on Joanie, as the fans boo. She actually Celine goes to pick her up for the Six Leve, but Joanie is ready for it, blocks her, sends her back into the other corner, hits another big boot, actually has her picked up for the big sleeper slam to a crowd pop, picks her up, boom, power bomb, swings her around, but the ref is in the way, and the ref is down as Joanie completes the power bomb. But then, out of nowhere, in comes Kiana Chaos, aka Amazing Kong, as she comes in the ring and actually drills Joanie Laurer with a back fist, picks her up, hits the implant DDT, and then rolls out of the ring. Cartier recovers, picks Joanie up, Slice Leve, 1, 2, 3, and your winner, and still wins world champion, is Celine Cartier. Great heat, good wrestling, goes about 13 minutes. Like I said, following your friends from Kiana Chaos. Wrestling rating of 76, crowd rating of 79, singing rating of 78. Cartier gets a 77, Laurer gets a 76. Like the seed finish was a success. Good stuff. And post-match, Kiana Chaos continues the attack on Joanie Laurer as this gets a 48, and seems like we got a new feud here on Revolution. And now it's time for War Games. As first, we have basically we have the first wrestler coming down from Team WCW, and it's going to be Kanyon in the ring. And then we have the first wrestler for the Thrillers, and it's going to be Sean O'Hare. This gets an 88, as basically, then the, announcers goes over the rules, and that the Thrillers have the main advantage after the coin flip earlier tonight. So, it is time for War Games itself. Of course, Kanyon and O'Hare go right after each other. O'Hare tries to start with Empower, but Andrew, fires back quickly, super kicking with O'Hare in the mouth right from the bell ring, and then hitting a Fireman's Carry facebuster. And then, we get a big old brawl for basically the first 5 minutes. O'Hare and Kanyon, both sort of go for some big moves. O'Hare goes for the Widowmaker early, but Kanyon from the 2DT. Kanyon goes for a cannon cutter, but O'Hare blocks it and then hits a big power slam and then follows up with a big clothesline. He's actually setting it for another Widowmaker, but Kanyon blocks it and hits him with a flatliner as the countdown ends, and we have our second advantage, and that's going to be Mark Jindrak for the Thrillers as the heels take a 2-on-1 advantage. Jindrak comes in with a big punch on Kanyon from behind, and then we get a isolation time on Kanyon as we get a heavy strikes, punches, kicks, double teams, backbreakers, and as O'Hare holds him, Jindrak hits a crucifix neckbreaker to a big, two big boos. But O'Hare and Jindrak basically running into each other to a big pop, and Kanyon hits a huge set out electric chair facebuster on Jindrak as Kanyon slowly gets up as starts running with O'Hare as the countdown reaches 0, and then comes Matt Hardy to a big pop as Hardy deck closes on O'Hare and hits a huge side effect right on him, and then he sends Jindrak into the corner clothesline, big running bulldog, and then Kanyon Hardy hit a big double super kick on O'Hare, and then a double suplex on Jindrak, and then he hits a big twist of fate on Sean O'Hare to a big pop, and he goes up top, hits a big diving leg drop as the countdown reaches 0 for the next entrant from the Thrillers, and in comes Havoc. As Havoc brings in his brutality, the big brawler comes in, hits a big spine buster on Matt Hardy, then hits a big snake dive on Kanyon, then drills him with a lariat. And then we get a big old beatdown as Jindrak sends Kanyon into the cage wall and then hits a big running knee. Havoc catapults Hardy's right into the steel, and we get some blood from people as the Blues beat down, but the beatdown continues as the countdown reaches down to 0, as Paul London comes in, as he'll sort of laugh at the fact that he's going to do anything, but London avoids a few moves, then hits a big springboard, hitting drop kicks on both Havoc and Jindrak, then hits a drop shot on O'Hare, lands him on his feet. He then climbs to the top of the cage wall, and hits a huge diving crossbody onto all three thrillers as they, as they recover. Lennon Canyon then try to go after Jindrak, but they get cut off when Havoc slams Kanyon to the cage wall again, but Lennon fights off as Matt Hardy eventually comes down and tries to help him. As the countdown reaches 0, in comes Dice for the thrillers. And then, Davis comes in, and he actually brings a chain out of his tights, and he nails London with it, then chokes Hardy, whips Kanyon. He and Havoc double Kanyon with a huge double choke slam across both rings. Then they isolate Hardy, nail with a modified powerbomb neckbreaker that leaves him down. And then, the throwers are firmly in control as the beatdown continues. London and Keenan try to do their best, but they get knocked down. Hardy, gets a few, wild moves, but no good. But then, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, in comes Jack Evans, and he comes down, sprints in, bounces off the ropes and springboards off the cage into a flying corkscrew kick on Dice, runs up, hits the springboard corkscrew moonsault on Havoc, hitting a face kick on Jindrak, then London recovers, Mysterio and Zaguri's on Palumbo, on O'Hare. They then hit a few double T moves on all members of the Thrillers to a big pop, and then Len hits a somersault plancha, I guess really somersault toupee across the ropes onto Havoc. Then Evans does a handspring 450 into the opposite ring, nailing O'Hare as he's down. But then the countdown comes down, and in comes the Thriller Strick Palumbo, and he comes down with a one-man wrecking crew, diving shoulder block to Evans, overhead Billy London, hits a big Samoan drop to Hardy, the Jerkalux. He drags Evans right to the middle of the ring and hits a huge full throttle to the boos of the crowd. As the beatdown continues, Evans, we get Ken fighting with Palumbo. Ken actually going for a cannon cutter, but Palumbo blocks it, turns to another full throttle as everybody's down, and it looks like the babyfaces are in big trouble. But then, the countdown hits 0, and in comes Kurt Angle to a big pop as he comes down. He enters like a big old freight train, tackling O'Hare first, term suplex 1, 2, 3, 4 dreamsixes on O'Hare as the rest of the babyfaces fight off the other members of the team. Jindrak rushes belly to belly, Dice rushes, double takedown and some punches. Havoc comes down, some European uppercuts from Angle. Havoc rushes, ducks under, boom, Angle slam. Hardy hits a big side effect on Jindrak, and Levins and Evans hit dual 450s onto Palumbo and Dice as the crowd pops. Kanyon lifts O'Hare to the top rope. Huge avalanche Samoan drop from the one ring into the next. We get Jindrak gets locked into the condo clutch gets locked into a sort of like clutch by Hardy, but Dice breaks it. Havoc sets over powerbomb, but Evans turns that into a Hurricanrana. Palumbo goes for an Inferno Boston Crab on Palumbo after a big full throttle, but Hardy interrupts and twists to face him to the cage wall. And then O'Hare goes after Angle, but O'Hare's ready for, he's ready for him. O'Hare goes for the Widowmaker. Angle turns that into a DDT, rolls right through into multiple German suplexes, and then locks on the ankle lock. Of course, O'Hare goes for the ropes, automatically, but of course there's no rope breaks. He tries to roll, but Angle finds the leg into the ankle lock. Palumbo tries to interfere. Huge cannon cutter from Kanyon. Dice grabs Angle. Matt Hardy spears him from behind. Havoc claims the cage, but Evans, hits a big drop kick to knock him off. And O'Hare, with nowhere to go, taps right in the middle of the ring. And after 24:42, Angle summons O'Hare with the ankle lock. 80 wrestling rating, 76 crowd rating, but 89 overall. O'Hare gets 78, Jindrak gets 76, Havoc gets a 68, Dice gets a 70, Palumbo gets an 80, Hardy gets a 76, Evan gets a 91, Lennon gets an 82, Ken gets an 80, Angle gets a 97 because he's freaking great. Creative finish was a success, and yeah, Angle's really good. Was there anything bad here? Let me see here. Declining physical ability and no morale, but yeah, fun stuff. Havoc got a sleepyhead, which I'm just saying he busted himself too hard. But yeah, really good. Honestly, again, I was worried this is going to be getting a bad rating, which is why it wasn't the main event or even the semi-main. But here we are, not bad at all. Really good. Yes, I know. Post-match, the babies celebrate, cheers the crowd as this gets a 75. And next up, we got a big semifinal match as well, semi-main event. As AJ Styles takes on Leppan, the U.S. title is not on the line. Of course, Leppan won the U.S. title, was cockily celebrating about it. AJ Styles came out and basically, challenged him, prove, he used to be the next top guy, so prove you're the next top guy by being the face that runs this place. Leppan cockily accepts, and the match was on. AJ Styles is basically upset, he's been involved in this business, so he's nothing to do with Havoc, and here we are. Back and forth right from the beginning. Technicians from the start. We get some chain wrestling right from the start, but Leppan actually locks on a key lock early, but Styles rolls through with a quick arm drag, then hits a big drop kick to the knee, and then locks on a calf crusher for his own submission tease, but Leppan scrambles through the ropes. But then Styles gets back control with the big, phenomenal blitz, the punches, the thighs kicks, being fast fisted, the accelerate to a big pop. Then he hits the kip up to a big drop kick. Then Leppan rolls through the ropes. He hits the big spring moonsault into the reverse DDT for a 2 count. And then Leppan stumbles back into the apron. Styles chases him, but then he hits a big hot shot on the top rope, followed by Samoan drop for a near fall. Leppan, keeps AJ grounded then with a snap suplex, and then locks in an arm branch spinebuster to a big heel pop. AJ Styles Leppan sends AJ into the corner, but Leppan rushes. AJ gets out of the way. Big Pele kick. But then as he comes in, Leppan gets out of the way and then allows him to hit a rolling bulldog. He taunts the crowd, then hits a big swing fisherman suplex for 2 count, and then he locks on a sleeping hold with the body scissors to slow things down. Styles teases fading out, but the crowd, brings him back. He powers up, eventually getting out of the hold, then hits a big fireman's carry facebuster to buy himself a breather. Styles ducks a lariat from Leppan, then answers with his own DDT, then spikes Leppan on his head. He then hits the ropes and boom, hits Fun on the forearm. But Leppan ducks, AJ rolls through, hits top of the ropes, and connects on the rebound with a big, a running knee of his own, hits a near fall. He then locks him up for the Styles Clash, but Lim wriggles out, throws AJ off, and then surprises him with the big party foul snapmare driver out of nowhere for the near fall. Leppan goes up top for the top rope leg drop. He launches, but AJ rolls right to a big pop. AJ pulls himself on the top rope and climbs turnbuckle. He leaps, big 450 for a near fall, but Leppan gets his knees up, and AJ gets out of the way. Both men are down. The ref is, slowly counting. They get up, they do some trading forearms. Leppan and grabs AJ's wrist for the Hangman's facebuster, but AJ flips out, hits the Ugarashi to a big pop, and then he punches the ropes. The crowd, knows what's coming. He goes for the phenomenal forearm, but out of nowhere, Eddie Guerrero rolls out of underneath the ring, and as he's going to, basically going for the move, he grabs AJ's legs, out of the sight of the referee, and AJ tumbles down to the outside. The ref just thinks he, didn't quite hold it. And then, as Leppan sort of distracts the ref on the outside, Eddie has a briefcase. Boom! Brainbuster on the briefcase on the outside. Eddie slides back, heads to the outside of the ring, as Leppan, sort of stops, basically messing with the ref. He throws in AJ, hits a party foul, then picks her up. International incident. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles has taken a loss from Leppan, as Eddie Guerrero has gotten involved in his business once again. Super Wrestling, great heat. 92 wrestling rating, 80 crowd rating, overall rating of 86. AJ gets a 92, Leppan gets a 91. Like you see, finish worked. And unfortunately, we had some bad commentary, but what can you do? Really good match. And yeah, heat is building on AJ and Eddie. But yeah, Eddie basically mocks AJ from the top of the ramp as Leppan celebrates. That gets 74. Now it's main event time. We get Judas Mesias entrance, which gets a 79. Then we get Monty Brown's entrance, which gets an 85. And it's time for the World Heavyweight title match. Overall gets an 81. And, as you expect, this match is not pretty. We get right from the start. We go right after each other. We get, Monty explodes first with a big shoulder block, but Mesias doesn't move. Monty goes for another one, but Mesias stumbles but stays upright. Mesias roars back with a big clothesline, but Monty ducks under, hits a big belly suplex. as Mesias falls down. Then Monty presses his advantage, like raining down the forearms, and then drives Mesias into the corner. Big bear hug, and then he goes for a suplex. Mesias hits headbutts. Boom, boom, boom. Monty lets go. Mesias hits a big clothesline. Then actually picks him up with a huge choke slam to a big pop as Monty rolls out to the outside. Mesias, of course, rolls out and follows. We get big Mesias coming from with Monty, sending him to the barricade. Then a huge running power slam on the floor. And then Monty fights back as Mesias slowly gets up, hits drilling Mesias into the steel steps, and then he goes for looks like an alpha bomb, but Mesias backdrops it out, and then Monty lands hard on the concrete. And then as Monty's slowly getting up, Mesias runs, boom, spear right through the guardrail. Barrier collapses. Both men are down in the timekeeper's area. Monty and Mesias slowly get up and roll back in the ring. Monty tries to fire off some punches, and then nails Mesias with a single arm DDT. He then goes for the swinging side slam off Illusion for a near fall. He backs in the corner. He lets out a roar, goes for the pounce, but Mesias sidesteps as Monty goes into the turnbuckle, and Mesias seizes the moment. Huge choke slam for a near fall, and then hits the big reverse STO for another near fall. And Mesias crawls to the corner. He's laughing, and then he lines up for another spear, but Monty gets out of the way and hits him with a huge back suplex, rolls through, goes to the corner, boom, pounce. But both men are down as Monty Brown cannot make the save for himself to go for the pinfall victory. Both men are crawling now. Monty is up first, drags up to the ropes, but Mesias sits up, and Monty goes for another alpha bomb, but Mesias breaks free with a couple big headbutts, including a bite. But then, as Mesias picks him up for a choke slam, Monty blocks it, and then as both men tumble, Monty gets up first, a huge chop block right to Mesias' knee, and then another one. As Mesias may talk about voodoo and the darkness, but he still has knees like every other man, and another big chop block as Mesias slowly gets up. As then Monty gets up himself, pounce, big pop, but then Monty does not go for the pin. He goes for Mesias to get it back up, and boom, pounce again for another one. 1, 2, 3. And Monty Brown has survived Mesias here at Halloween Havoc. Match goes 15 minutes, and Monty Brown gets wins the pounce. Wrestling rating of 86, crowd rating of 82, overall rating of 87. Juice gets an 85, Monty gets an 87. Creative finish with success. Color commentary issues, what can you do? And then post-match, we get a little bit of fun as Eddie comes out, possibly to call his shot. But then AJ comes out of the backstage area and attacks Eddie from behind. We get both men brawling down towards the ring. They eventually get into the ring, but then Monty recovers, and as they're brawling, Monty comes out of nowhere and drops both men with a big old pounce. They both don't take the full force of it, but then, Monty is standing tall with the WCW World title on the outside of the ring as AJ and Eddie both look down at him as the announcers put over what's going on here. So Eddie coming out gets a 79, AJ and Eddie probably gets a 78, and Monty getting involved gets an 80. And so, And overall, the show itself got it a 90. So good stuff. Popularity one region. So dress the locker room. So actually, let's see here. AJ, great performance. Honestly, Judas, great performance. What match was actually better than I thought it would be? Joanie, great performance. Booker, good performance. Actually, good example. Yay, everybody's pleased. Sleepyhead, sure, whatever. Financial report, we made $3 million. Yay. Popular recap, we gained some pop in New Zealand. And now the media scrum. Junior Blight won the women's tag titles, long range on the cards. I'll just say they deserve the opportunity. It's didn't come to a deal. He's a big part of the WCW family. Claudia Cesaro, yes. He's a big part of, she's a big part. Sure. Yeah. Okay, lots of questions about contracts, but yeah. So let's just see. We'll double check a couple of popularity stuff. especially like guys like Leppan, Judas Mesias, and that'll be it for this show. It's T-Money. He's a guy. Okay, yeah, Halloween Havoc. Let's see here. Email wise. Yeah, we got some expiring deals. Havoc's injured. Okay, Van Dam. Slap on the wrist. Yeah. It's pot. I don't care. Uh, no action. He's not a wrestler. I don't care. Do all the juice you want, Randy. You're not getting back in the ring. Okay, anyway. So, first, titles. Leppan, still your U.S. champion. Celine Cartier, still your women's world champion. Your new women's tag team champions are Blight and Danger after the 25-day reign of Alexander and Foxx. Your world tag team champions are, of course, O'Hare and Jindrak. And your world heavyweight champion is still Monty Brown. Let's see here. If we look at the roster, so first let's check out the no-brand people. So that includes Cartier. Popularity, there we go. So, yeah, I mean, she's gained a point or two. Let's see here. O'Hare actually did the job here, so let's see here. Oh, okay, he took a little bit of a bump. Monty, I think, has hit his pop cap, unfortunately. So then, if we go to the rest, 2. Revolution. Okay, yeah, time to rebuild AJ a bit. He's done some jobs. I need to refix that. Alexa Blight, again, big old wins. She's getting quickly more over. Alec Danger, same thing. She's actually getting pretty over finally. Alexander, took a bit of a hit here doing the job, but she can be rebuilt. Booker. Yeah, Booker's somebody who we, probably need to rebuild a little bit if we want to. Let's see here. Joanie. Okay, I mean, Joanie lost a point. That's no big deal. Mesias 80 might be his pop cap, at least in the US. Kanyon's still super over. Sharpe, actually, I think he did a job earlier in the month, so, but still not the end of the world. Anybody out of note? Let's see. Paul London. London's fine. Oh, Leppan. Leppan? Okay, yeah. Again, he might be at his pop cap, which is unfortunate. RVD is somebody else who needs rebuilt because we've really hurt RVD. Like, he's actually done a lot of jobs he should. I mean, I don't think he shouldn't have done, but he's somebody who needs to be rebuilt a bit here. But yeah, not really much else of note here. But yeah, that is it for now. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking. And of course, subscribe to the channel for honestly just the series at the moment. Nothing else is really popping off. But if there's nothing else, just keep on watching this as we move on the road to Starcade, Atlanta, 2 nights. But that's for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.